welcome to a new video. I hope that you are staying safe and healthy, and in this video I am painting a forest. Before starting the tutorial, I'm going to quickly go over the materials. I am using my Winsor & Newton watercolor brushes, my Montmartre watercolor set, my medium-sized Chinese brushes, my Canson 300 GSM mixed media sketchbook. To begin, I started by pre-wetting the page to make a light wash for the background, starting with a yellow for the gentle sunshine around the sun, but keeping the page white for the sun. Then I filled the page with greens and browns, with a darker green in the left corner to be consistent with the shadows away from the sunlight. The browns are for the hints of brown for the ground. Then I pre-wet the page again once it was completely dry and made the page more saturated, and started to paint some loose scattered areas of leaves and patches of exposed ground. And then I left this completely dry before starting to paint the trees. When painting the trees, I start by keeping them very light and slowly making them darker as I progress with the painting. If I know that I want the tree more in the foreground, then I will make them thicker and darker to give that illusion of depth. To paint the trees, I made a crooked vertical line for the trunk with a wet on dry technique. At the top, I paint thin branches, keeping my paintbrush upright to get those thin strokes. Whilst the tree is still wet, then I add the shadows for the trunks, and sometimes clean and dry my brush to remove a little paint from the trunk to make it lighter, making sure to keep the trees lighter on the side the sun is facing and the shadows on the opposite side. Then I began painting trees with the browns, using the same method as the green trees, but I added blue for the shadows. Once I had painted the first layer of all the trees, I began painting in the grass on the ground, as well as using browns to define the exposed ground. This was the first layer, so I kept it quite loose and making sure to use different tones of greens and browns to make it a little bit more natural. Next, I went on to painting the first layer of the leaves with a mid-tone green, making short strokes and loosely painting them at the top of the trees, again making sure to have different tones. Then I went in with a lighter tone for the shrubs under the sun and leaves closest to the sunlight. After, I went over the trees again, making them darker to give the painting more contrast, and adding blue for the shadows of the trees on the ground. Then I did the second layer of the grass, making darker shades of grass. To finish off the leaves, I painted the lightest tone and painted in more leaves in the area between the trees as I thought it was quite bare. I left a line untouched in between these sections of leaves so that it looked like a sunbeam coming through as I last minute thought. Then I filled in the background of the trees on the left with shrubs with a darker green and blue. I did final last minute touches to make the shadows darker throughout the painting. I also added another tree and a background because I felt like a tree would look good there and I liked how it looked in the end. I wasn't very confident when painting most of this forest as I didn't plan how it would look and wasn't so sure how to paint a forest, so although it was more nerve-wracking in terms of the anticipation of how the final painting would look, I like that because of the lack of planning I was able to add things spontaneously. I know I probably didn't do all the steps in the right order, but this is how my forest turned out as a beginner, and I hope this helps other beginners like me. Most of this process is making adjustments as you go along, making sure you got a variety of tones, starting off light, which is always a good tip for any watercolor painting. Even though I didn't know what to expect with this painting, I really liked how it turned out and the progress I am making with landscapes, and I hope you are enjoying this journey with me. Thank you so much for watching. I would really appreciate it if you liked this video and subscribed for weekly Saturday videos where I paint flowers, animals, landscapes, and other watercolor related videos. And as always, God bless, and I'll see you later.